Don't know. At that point, I didn't give them credit cards, I
Right,
don't
so,
believe. I don't know how they got my
right,
numbers,
so
but
this new
somehow.
so somehow this new company that has no affiliation supposedly to anybody that you've done business with in the past.
Correct.
Had the 4 digits of your last credit card transaction.
Correct.
By quoting the
Correct.
4 last digits on your credit card, and they had asked you, is it okay to just put it on the existing credit card that you've used in the past?
Correct.
Kind of odd, but yeah, okay.
Okay. The 25th, I believe, I get another phone call from a company that is, he told me I'm going to get a call from his company. They're just going to ask me a few questions, he told me. I get a call on the 25th or 3rd, about 5 days later, from Success Online, which told me that they see that I have the advertising through them, and I'm going to need them in order to build my business.
Okay.
I told them that I had Precision Service Corp,
Okay.
which was the other business that I signed up for. They told me they know the company well, and they will work with that company
Okay.
in order to help me, because there's many business strategies involved, and there's tax and there's...
So they're going to work in conjunction with you,
Correct.
with each other to get you
to get me
where
up
you
and
wanna
moving.
be.
Correct. That's what they were going to do for me.
Do you know if these 2 companies are affiliated in any way?
They claim not to be, but I have other thoughts on that matter.
Okay.
Okay. He signed me up. It was $8,000,
No way. 8,000.
almost $9,000 he signed me up for, which, as I was talking to him, which he also brought up my Amazon website,
Right.
and he was going to work with that.
Right. So
Okay.
he's working with Amazon. Too.
There is no Amazon.
Right, I got it.
Yeah, the Amazon was nothing.
So you spent another $8,000.
Correct.
Okay.
They were going to handle the Amazon.com,
Right.
that one, and they were also going to handle my second website that they were making for me. They said usually people have 3 or 4 websites in order to earn
Okay.
a good.
All right. And what happened after that?
Okay. When I got the bills for it, I had 3 separate charges on my cards. One to Success Online, one to Success Planning, and one to My Essential Plans. They broke them all down.
The $8,000.
Correct. It's broken into 3 different charges.
Right.
Okay. I received a phone call. All through all this, I was going home and I was up all day and night. This thing was driving me crazy. I was trying to find, and when you try to call them, they don't answer the phone.
Okay.
You leave messages, they do not answer you back. There was no direct way I can even email them.
Okay.
Okay? They'd call back a few days later, if that, to ask questions. Approximately September 15th, I received a phone call from My Essential Plans. They told me that in order to continue with them, I needed to pay an additional $14,000.
Okay.
That was for the drop shipper.
Did you pay the $14,000?
Okay, everything was taken out of my credit cards. At that point, they told me, they said, look, this is as far as the $14,000. I said, I'm already in debt for $40,000 with you people.
Right.
He said, no, it's only 30.
Right.
Which 30 is exactly what I was in for everything,
Right.
with all these companies. They told me they could get me, if I paid the 14, I could get a business loan for 30,000,
Right.
40,000.
So
they
they-
guarantee I can get.
Right. So
a
they gave
business
you.
loan.
So you give Did you give them $14,000?
I gave them nothing at that point.
Right. Okay.
They told me that you have to do this. If you don't,
Right.
time is of the essence in this, because if they have to get my business, the money I had in my personal is going to show up on the credit report within 60 days.
Right.
So they have to get all this done before the 60 days.
Okay.
Or I'm going to be responsible for all this.
Right.
They don't want that to happen to me.
Right. And in order for that not to happen,
They
you
were on a
gotta pay
timeline,
$14,000.
correct, they were on a timeline.
Right.
So I spoke to the gentleman I initially spoke to for the $8,000, and he told me I must have misunderstood him.
Right. Did you misunderstand?
I did not misunderstand him.
Okay.
So then he said we might have had a misunderstanding then.
Right.
He said if I don't pay the $14,000, I cannot move ahead
Right.
with the company. I cannot
Right.
move ahead with it. I cannot
Right.
use my own drop shippers. I cannot
Right.
use anything on my own. I have to use their company's only.
Okay.
Okay. After that, I got him on the phone and I told him, I said, look, because I had just gotten out of surgery on August 15th. I had major surgery on my neck. I said, look, I am not giving you another penny. He's telling me about they need the 14,000 or my credit's going to get ruined and all this. I said, you know what? I said, you all people have your money already. You have your money. I said, at this point, if I get stuck with all this, then so be it. That's going to be my problem, not theirs.
Right.
So when I left it with them at that point, because they were calling me like 5-10 times a day, they're very persistent.
For the 14. They want to upsell.
They
you.
want to upsell, or you're not
Right.
going anywhere.
Right.
So finally I called my account manager telling him, do not have anybody call me from your company.
Right.
I want no contact with them.
Right.
For at least 2 months, 3 months, because by that time I was told I'm getting no money back from these people.
Right.
They have a 3-day cancellation fee.
Right.
Not 3 working days, 3-day cancellation fee, which I
Right.
signed up on a Thursday. So by Monday,
Right. You were done.
I was done.
Right.
So-
So you had spent a total of
$30,000.
and you got in what?
Nothing.
Return? Zero.
Zero.
Now,
Zero involved.
you had mentioned that you had a conversation with somebody about something about a web address or they can track your computer.
Correct.
Tell me
Correct.
that again.
When I e-signed,
Right.
it showed they know where I live. They
Okay.
know the exact address. Now, they also know when I did call the company, they'd answer the phone, hi Judy, how are you? And I did call the company once from somebody's phone,
Right.
and they didn't even answer the phone.
Right.
So, something is, they know too much. They got me to a point when I had told him, don't bother me, I was actually in fear of my life because these people are just so, they talk down to you, they tell you, listen to me, don't raise your voice to me, the way they talk to you. And I can just imagine how they talk to these elderly people, because I told him I'm 58, he said all their clients are over 65, and they come to them to build website businesses so they can leave something to their children. That's what they're doing. So they knew where I was, they knew where I lived, they know where I am, and I was afraid at that point. I really was, because I was asking too many questions. I had gone online and I pulled up things, and my computer got totally messed up. I had 400 and something spyware in my computer. I had to hire a company to clean out my computer.
Which costs you more money.
Which cost me more money. They said if I open up a email from them, they can get into my computer.
Really?
Correct.
So if
I don't understand how they can do this, but they're so-called, they put, if you open their email, it could go into the computer in a virus form or spyware.
Wow. So, with your experience through this whole thing, what would you like to see happen as a whole to the
Okay.
people involved, to as far as a monetary standpoint?
As I told my credit card companies, I was on the phone with each one of them trying to dispute this. I told them if they said they'll do what they can. I
Right.
said, this was before even I knew about Scamagard. I had no idea about Scamagard.
Right.
I said, do what you can. If not, I'm responsible for
Right, okay,
it. Okay, and as to date, financially I was at a point where I had enough to cover me. I have not one late payment. It's
Right.
not ruining my credit.
just to keep your
Just to
credit the
keep
way it
afloat.
was,
I am
right.
not gonna allow them
So you
to.
just make minimum payments for the time being, so your
Correct.
credit isn't affected.
Correct.
Right, I got it.
And that's what I'm doing right now. When I found Scamagard, they told me that they could possibly get me back some of my money, which is a great thing.
Right,
But as I was looking online, there are so many, well, I see elderly people, but people in general, the economy is at a point now that people are looking to make money, and they think that anybody could get a website or make money online. People are desperate at this point. These companies, I find out also, they look at your credit report, they know how much you could spend. So what he's gonna charge me $9,000 for, he might charge somebody else $3,000 for. That $3,000 for them is like $9,000 to me.
or maybe 20,000.
Or 20 or 60 or whatever that they're gonna charge them. I'm lucky at this point, there's people that have homes, they have 401k plans, and they will attach, there's no out for them.
Right.
Me, I don't own anything at this point, so
Right.
as far as that's, you know,
Right.
I mean,
But for your own edification.
I want to see, these companies, I understand it, have been doing this for 10 years under different names.
Right.
And there's thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people that I'm sure have been affected and taken by these companies.
Right.
And I think they have to be stopped. They think they are above
The law.
the law. They
Right.
laugh at you. They say there's nothing you can do.
Well,
They also
you know,
tell you
go
you
ahead.
cannot file. You cannot get a lawyer. The only way you could fight their companies, you have to go to Utah, is where their companies are based, most of them. They tell you have to go to Utah and you have to use one of two arbitrators through their company in order to get your money
So you have to
back.
travel to Utah,
And
that's
use
your
their-
only, that's your only
At my
option.
expense, and use one of their arbitrators to
But
try.
why would they say Utah? Is that where these companies
That
are
is where they are
located?
based out of. They're based out of St. George, Utah,
Okay, all of them,
all of them. They have offices in Manhattan,
okay,
and they tell you that they are located in Manhattan.
okay, so they have
In
offices.
fact, they are located
Where,
in the Empire State Building.
really?
Yes, and they will tell you that. They're located right in the heart of Manhattan, the Empire State Building, the financial capital of the world, and they're a legitimate business. Correct.
In through your experience and your estimation, do you feel that you were misled and defrauded?
100%.
Really? And if in the
100%.
event, my question to you is, what would make you happy to, to get this thing resolved? I mean, what's your take on this whole thing, the way you were treated?
Okay, at this point, I'm not even thinking about my money. If that comes to me, that's fine. I'm a type of person, I like to help other people, and I like to help the underdog.
Right.
And when I see all the elderly that have been taken, including my mother, when she came to live with me, that got taken for $4,000,
Right.
the poor, and I went through them to try to get her money back, and there's just too many scams, and especially with the elderly.
Right.
Especially with the elderly. They hit you on an emotional level.
Right. I
Now,
mean,
what I can tell people at this point is anybody that calls you on the phone, or even if you call them on the phone,
right.
you do not give them a credit card under any circumstances. You do
Right.
not sign anything under any circumstances. If they ask you to record something, you don't record anything.
Right.
You tell them to send you all the paperwork,
Right.
either via the computer or through the mail, so you can review everything before you get involved in any of this. That's what I think people should do. Anybody that calls you that wants a credit card, don't believe it. The old saying, don't believe anything you hear and half of what you see. You need proof of it. It's not like it was 30, 40 years ago.
Right.
You can't trust people.
Right,
no
I
matter what they
understand.
say.
I wanted to say something. This, prior to us meeting here in my office at Scammagard in Delray, and you being from Tampa,
Mhm.
have we ever met before
Never.
today?
Never.
met.
Never met.
And you had also being concerned not only for your situation on what had transpired with you, and obviously you're very competent, you're intelligent, and yet these people sometimes have the gift of gab, and they led you to believe that there's a possibility that not only you're going to become profitable, but there's the idea that your grandchildren will be in a financial position that will help them in the upcoming future.
See, I always thought that this would never happen to me, but situations, they play upon your emotional state.
Right, but let me tell you something. Everybody that has come to this company has had, the story is the same. There are people that have graduated Ivy League schools. There are people who are professionals, there are doctors, there are attorneys, there are teachers, there are all sorts of professionals, there are people who are affiliated with, a lot of people that are saying the same thing because they feel that they were taken advantage